What's up guys, in this video I'm gonna make a spacey beat. My goal is to try to make something very spacious without using too much sounds. Stuff like synth pads will be nice, choir, and some leads. For my first sound I'm using Expedition to Sci-Fi. It's a sci-fi bank that has a bunch of spacious and very futuristic sounds, and that's perfect for what I'm trying to make. I'm using dissonant melody for this first sound, and I laid down my notes in A minor right here. And just to show you how I did my chords, let me just delete this first one. I laid down my root notes right here like A, then I use the A minor chord, so C, and then E, and then take the root note, double that up, bring it right here. And I pretty much did the same thing with the other chords as well. This preset was very loud, so I EQ'd some lows and some highs to kind of control the sound a little bit, use some compression, and then I use this meter to really make sure the levels are right. And in my opinion, when you're making ambient melodies in general, using 7th chords like this, because these are 7th chords, is going to really help spread out that sound because the chords will sound more open. And then next, I'm using a lead from the same bank, Expedition Sci-Fi. It's more of an involving kind of sound where it starts off like simple and then it kind of turns into something bigger. And I pan this instrument to the left so that it has more space of its own. One thing I really like about the sound is the texture. The white noise kind of gives it like a muffled kind of vibe, like you're on the moon or something, and every sound that you're hearing is like slightly muffled because of maybe the helmet you have on, and I just think this sound really matches the vibe. I use tube channel strips to really bring the sound to life to give it some more color, and then the snare plugin to spread it out a little bit more. Next, I'm using augmented voices. As I said in the title, I want some kind of human presence using a choir, and for this knob over here, I turn it all the way up to this side because it sounds more human, because if you turn it all the way on the other side, it sounds more like a synth, and I don't want that. For the reverb, I turn it all the way up so that I don't have to add any more reverb on the mixing channels, and then for the MIDI, the exact same chords from the first one. For the EQ, took some lows off and some highs as well. I took a lot of highs off actually so that it still sounds a bit muffled and also controlled. Use Ozone Imager 2 to spread out the sound, and also use this one as well to just double down on that spreading of the sound. Next, I'm using electrics. I'm using the fuzzy lead preset, and this really, I think, is the most sci-fi like sounding synth out of every sound. It kind of has like a Buzz Lightyear kind of vibe. For processing again, some EQ, some lows and some highs. Then I use some reverb for some good space, and then some compression as well because the sound was quite big and I wanted to control it. And I also pan the instrument to the left to give it its own space as well. This sounds more interesting. This is more of a sequence synth, but it's not melodic at all. It's more of a rhythm. It's just some white notes with a certain LFO to give it like a bounce. At first I was skeptical of using this, but when I put the drums in, it just kind of fit in and it really worked out. I just left that at C because it doesn't matter what note you put it at. For processing, you guessed it, EQ, some lows, and just a little bit of highs. I use the filter so that it sounds pretty controlled and muffled because if without it, it just kind of sounds a bit chaotic. Use some automated panning so it kind of goes side to side, but not too much. I have the range around right here, so it's a little bit limiting. And some compression, again, for some good control. Then I have the bass notes. I just followed my root notes like I always do. And then let's have my bass notes from Analog Live Pro again. I use the factory presets for this one so anyone can use it if you have this plugin, and it's called chest compression. It sounds like a sub bass that has a lot of reverb in it, but it's kind of controlled so it doesn't sound very wacky. And that is it for the melodies. Now we're going to move on to the drums. Some of these kits will say R&B, but I just like the texture and the overall just calmness of these drum kits because I don't want the drums to be that much really in my face, so I think it works out. I have this sound, and I tune it down to A instead of to C5. For my hi-hats, I have a couple of triplets over here. The hi-hat rolls are the lowest so that it's not overpowering the regular ones. And on top of that, just the overall velocity of these hi-hats are more random, just for some good dynamics. Then this is my kick. I also have it tuned to A4 along with the hi-hats and the snare. And then here's a little preview of the whole entire beat.